my audience, my mom and my stepdad.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Hannah Hamid, and I'm a current student at Metropolitan State University of Denver. I want to present to you an issue that I think is relevant for everyone. I'm going to tell you why we should be eliminating the use of plastic in our lives. I'm going to first start by saying what the issue is, I'm going to tell you what's causing the issue, and then explain some simple things we can all do to help reduce the issue. First of all, I'm going to tell you why plastic is such an issue. There is way too much being used and produced. According to Five Guyer's Science to Solutions, written in 2020, more than 300 million tons of plastic are being produced each year. A car weighs approximately 2 tons, so imagine 150 million cars. In a 2019 article, Solving Plastic Pollution Through Accountability, written by Witt, he says, since the year 2000, more plastic has been produced than all of the preceding years combined. The world is just not equipped to handle that amount of waste. It's also a threat to nature. There's hundreds of millions of tons entering the environment every single year. I want you to think of the last time you went on a hike. Did you see some sort of trash while you were out? Well, it seems impossible nowadays to be out in nature and not experience some sort of pollution. Plastics are in the environment and are also affecting our water systems and entering back into the soil. 1/3 of the plastic that we are producing becomes pollution. I want to ask you if you think that's worth it. If 1 in 3 of every single plastic bottles you drink from is going to sit on the earth for hundreds of years, is that worth it? It's also a threat to the ocean. Millions of tons of plastic are entering the ocean every year. According to a 2018 article written by Sabine Reach, he shares that plastic is affecting the life of the marine animals as well as their environments. Plastic doesn't naturally decay. It actually breaks up into small bits, and those little bits are spreading around, making the problem even worse. According to a 2010 article, Plastics and Health, written by Halden, he says, the plastic debris is affecting birds, seals, whales, and turtles. They can get entangled in it, ingest it, and it can even destroy their habitat. That's also affecting the seafood industry, as customers get concerned about the way the plastic is affecting their food. Or the ships that are sailing on the oceans, it can affect their equipment and cost thousands to fix. As well as negatively affecting the tourism. It's a deterrent for these people to go to the beach and when they're so polluted. Cities are having to spend millions of dollars to fix their beaches. Plastic leakage is only continuing to rise. The plastic lifespan is also really short. Plastic Europe Association of Plastic Manufacturers wrote in 2018 that it has a really short life and some can only last for about 1 year. Did you know that over 1 billion straws are produced or used per day? Think of the last time you drank a Starbucks coffee. How long did that last you? Maybe 1 hour? And then it sits on the earth for hundreds of years. Or the plastic bag you got from Safeway. That lasts on average about 12 minutes. You take it from the store to your car and into your house. And it's just not worth it for how long it's going to be sitting on the earth. It's also a threat to our health. Halden says that plastics pose a threat to human health. While there does need to be more research done to conclude the full effects, it definitely does do something to our bodies. Plastics are made of polymers, which are little tiny units, and these microplastics can enter into our systems without us even knowing it. 93% of plastic bottles contain microplastics. Microfibers can also be found in the air, polluting the air quality, and the burning of trash can affect us because of heart disease. BPA, which is commonly found in plastics, can enter our bodies, and large amounts can be really dangerous for children or for pregnant women. And when these plastics are exposed to heat, it can become even more hazardous for us to ingest. Now that I've told you all about the problem, let me explain to you some reasons why it's happening. The main reason is that companies are profiting off of the plastic. It's $1 billion industry, and in Europe, it's making almost as much as the pharmaceutical industry. According to Plastic Europe's, the people who are profiting are going to be the oil and gas companies, those converting the plastic to material, the waste management company, local and national authorities, plastic converters, and plastic recyclers. These people have very little reason to stop their production as it's making them so much money. It's also happening everywhere. China being the largest contributor makes up about 29% of it, but it's also happening in China, or in Europe, the United States, in Canada, and in Mexico. Plastic is in pretty much everything, even the clothes we're wearing. It's being used in tires, in paint, in cosmetics, also really common in the healthcare system because it's cheap, it's easily accessible, and it can be disposed of easily as well. It's used in our food packaging, for building, for construction, automobiles, electronics, in the sports industry, agriculture, and it makes up 8% of oil production. We use plastic so much in our daily lives, but a lot of it is actually unnecessary, and it's going to have an impact for generations to come. Also, recycling is not always being recycled. According to Albert Ripka in her 2018 article, she explains how when we recycle something, the companies are being paid to sell their recycling. And if there's no one to buy their recycling, that recycling is going directly to the landfills. In 2016, 39% of plastic was sent directly to the landfill. This just isn't sustainable. So now I'm going to explain to you what we can do to help reduce this issue. Like I said, not all plastic can be recycled. So one thing we can do is know what we can and cannot recycle. Because if we put something into the recycling that shouldn't be there, it's going to contaminate the entire batch. So something that EcoStraps wrote in 2018 is that we really need to be sure that we are washing the items before we put them in the recycling. We cannot put leftover food into the recycling. For example, a pizza box that still has sauce on it, that's going to contaminate the batch. So things to not recycle, I cannot stress this enough. It's going to be plastic bags, plastic utensils, plastic wrap, any sort of styrofoam, so like an egg container that's made out of styrofoam, cups, so yes, your Starbucks coffee cannot be recycled. And then things that we can recycle. This is going to be plastic bottles or containers, cardboard boxes or cereal boxes, magazines, mail, newspaper, tin, aluminum, or steel cans, glass food containers, or wine and beer bottles. And then we can all do simple things to help reduce this issue. I understand a lot of us are college students, so some of these things do cost more money, but there's a lot of simple things we can do as well. For example, taking reusable bags to the grocery store, carrying around a reusable water bottle. For those of you who are coffee drinkers like me, carrying around a takeaway tumbler that can be reused time and again. Or bringing plastic straws with you. I mean metal straws, so we don't use plastic straws. The food industry is really wasteful. A lot of times convenient foods are the most wasteful. So when you can bring your own containers or even bring your own utensils with you to cut down on the waste. It's, a lot of these ideas were inspired from a 2019 article by Beth Terry. Clothes as well shed a lot of microfibers into the air. So if you can, don't wash your clothes as much or use a gentle rinse cycle. When shopping, avoid clothes that have materials like polyester, spandex, or nylon. As well as shopping at thrift stores can really help to reduce this issue. Tire dust as well is a huge pollutant. And so if we can try to carpool or take public transportation, that can cut down on the plastic in the air. Try replacing plastic toothbrushes for bamboo ones, or shopping at local farmers market and bringing your own containers, or buying in bulk instead of having to buy a bunch of little items. When you're shopping for skincare products, look for ones that don't have polyethylene in the ingredient list, or buy soap that's in a bar instead of in a package. When you're searching for shampoo and conditioner, you can try to buy ones that aren't in plastic bottles. There's even places in Denver, like the Modern Nomad, where you can bring an empty container and get things like shampoo, conditioner, lotion, laundry detergent, and you can bring your own containers and not waste. Another thing that can be really fun is doing DIYs and making stuff at home that you would usually buy, like soap or a stain remover, or even making your own soy milk, as the ones at stores contain plastic. Simple things like buying dishwasher detergent in a box instead of a cardboard packaging, or getting a sponge that isn't made from synthetic plastic. Instead of buying a whole new razor, you can replace the razor blades, or buy ink cartridges instead of a whole new pen. Beeswax wraps instead of buying cling film. Buying toys without plastic in them. Or when ordering online, suggest that they send it without plastic packaging, or get off of mailing lists that are sending you unnecessary amount of plastics. Another thing that you can do is start a compost, because this will save room in your trash can and cut down on the use of plastic bags. Last but not least, take care of what you have so you don't have to replace it as often. There's many people who need to help solve this issue. The government, the plastic industry, but also you. Everyone can do their part to help reduce the issue. As Albert Ripke says, recycling is the third R. We need to reduce and reuse first. Now that I've explained some things we can all do to help, let's conclude. Plastic is an issue that has been prominent for years now and is only continuing to get worse if we don't all do our bit to help reduce the issue. I've went over why plastics are such an issue, what is causing the issue, and then given some simple solutions on what we can do to help. So let's work together to ditch the plastic and start living sustainably, for us, for future generations, for animals, and for the earth. Thank you.